Yeah, welcome all. Now we have our second speaker. The next section speaker is Mr. Raghavendra Mithade.
Good welcome. Experience is the best teacher. This program, in this session, I'll share about my experiences. But the person who wrote this, experience is the best teacher, forgot to add a footnote saying that it is bitter. So I'll share what I went through and a little bit of learning. But definitely the learnings are valuable. So that is something that's the reason I thought I should share this now with all of you, because there's a lot of learning. And that's why I think we can also say that uh, there is in a way, it gave us a kind of a psychological safety that it is not about failures, because always we go through experiences. We cannot avoid those experiences, right? But the maximum learning happens during our difficult experiences, where we resist, we think, oh my God, I want to come out of this. So if we stop and reflect, the lot of learnings are there, though that jumps happen in those difficult times. So that is my intention to share. So welcome to Leading with Resilience. Fewer, fear, and freedom sounds like a rhyme, but they have its own meanings to that. That is what I'm going to share. My name is Raghavendra Mithare. Those of you don't know me, I'll give a little background about me. But that my background is same for those who know me also. Welcome to this Agile Network India Psychological Safety in Remote Teams. Definitely a very good theme to discuss during these times of challenge. Quick this introduction about me. This is for those who know me, they don't know me. I have a background in engineering, then I also have a background in law. I've done my postgraduate diploma from National Law School. I'm also pursuing my coaching credentials. I also have created a product called this What Next and all that. So basically, why I'm giving this is I have a wide interest, and through that, I'm able to see certain things with certain perspective. I thought maybe I can share those insights and learnings for this audience, and as a community, we have to see how we can take this forward. So I am sure in throughout this session, because that is a specific theme for this next 2 days, we will be visiting this definition. But I also wanted to start with this because this is a kind of a groundbreaking work done by Amy and Edmondson, who talked about psychological safety for the first time. Though it came into the literature or in the industry. And as our previous speaker, I just forgot his name. He shared about it's not about being nice. Means in fact he has a very good experience. He's qualified and he's shared his experiences, where it is not about being nice. Like he talked about various in the previous session. We looked at how to establish those contracts and all that. I looked this psychological safety from certain dimensions. So it is not just about safety and psychology, right? The two aspects I wanted to little bit explore. Psychological is always with our emotional states and mental states, and also there is a element of physicality, means it expresses into how in our bodies, right? So the key word I highlighted is mind. That is one element which plays vital in this psychological safety. The other element is being of safety, being like a cause of danger, risk, or injury, because it's also important, especially in a remote work, some element of because especially when you're working in an office, some physical safety and all are taken care. And if you're working from home, we have to see how the environment around us is situated. Means when I say safety, it also about the way our infrastructure is given and all that. So all that is one dimension. So I'll not go into those details because I'll just focus on my learnings. And these are some work done by the people like Amy Edmondson. And also there is a link to Maslow's hierarchy. It's almost like from many years, this aspect has been discussed in various forms. So this is not something new. My focus in this session will be on fear, freedom, and COVID from what I went through. So let's go into that straight away. Currently, I'm speaking from my home at London, and this is on a bright Sunday morning. And this picture is very special to me because this are taken in the mid of April. During that time, UK was going through a huge influx of COVID cases. In fact, that was it has not yet reached peak at that time, and this was I went through a COVID kind of a I'll say disease or situation where after about 3 weeks I was stepping out from my house for the first time. So that is the kind of a bright day where being in, it's not just being in lockdown also, what I went through, I'll share that. So this is like kind of a very dear picture to me, which was like a first time after many, many days, I was stepping out and getting into that, enjoying that freedom of fresh air. So let me go back and rewind and see what happened. So on the, and before I say, maybe I should give a little bit background about what kind of person is. I normally, I'm very kind of a very careful person. It's not like I'm not careful. Even before the first COVID case reported in UK, I was reading news at what was happening around the world. Normally, I keep up to date what is happening around the world. And in China, the number of cases were increasing. In Wuhan, there was a huge number of cases. There was some indication, some cases are happening in Italy. This was in late February, early March. And slowly, even World Health Organization has not declared it as a pandemic at that time. So that time itself, I was having mask. I was having this hand sanitizer. So I was carrying them and washing my hands and all that. So you can see that kind of precaution I take, right? So I was more or less confident that if you take precaution, you'll be fine. I don't need to worry. So sometime in mid-March, almost like third week of March, I just, there was slowly, people have started working from home. There was still the lockdown was not announced in UK, but we all started working from home just to be safe. So we started working, and I had one training program to deliver in Glasgow, and I finished that and came home, and then thought I'll not take some work right now. We'll start focusing, means let's be safe. That was the intention. Still, my daughter was going to school during that time. And my wife's office, they said they can start working from home. And I had a fever. And you know that, just imagine in March, still the awareness about COVID was not much. So the natural instinct was, I was very fearful because what will happen. But within 2-3 days, it came down, it became normal. So I was happy. I thought I conquered the world, and I was happy. But within 3-4 days, the temperature started increasing. And this time, it was very unique. It was not just temperature, it's also having a cough. And the cough was very, very different because it was not like a cough I used to get when I was normal cold and cough. It was very dry. And also the kind of headache I used to experience was very different. Like it was not in the frontal lobe part. Normally when I have a cold, I have that. But it was the headache was on the back side. And it went on for some time. And that fever and compounded with fear. The fear was not that I knew that based on a little bit of study, it is not fatal. I definitely knew that, but I did not know when to be alertful. Means when I should take it seriously, because I knew that at home itself it can get cured. And unlike in India, in UK, everything is managed, all health services managed by NHS. So that means there is a one single system. It is not like you can, there are some private hospitals, but normally all of us will go to NHS. But they give a good guidance, I could say. Means it's all through phone. So immediately they kind of mentioned that not to step out and take free. And so I did isolation within my house. Look, I managed, I put that. But the challenge was we did not know whether we should, because the temperature was coming up, coming down, coming up and coming down. Now in this graph, it looks like some bars, right? Data points. But just imagine each one of them are 1 day, that is 24 hours. Just to give a sense of what is 24 hours, let's do a small experiment. That is, next 30 seconds, we'll just observe the time. That means wherever it means, don't do this unless it is safe to do for you. That means if you're driving and then listening, then better focus on the driving. Otherwise, if it is safe to do, I'll just pause for 30 seconds. I'll be silent and just observe the silence for 30 seconds and see how uncomfortable it is. So I'll be putting my stopwatch and doing this experiment. So 30 seconds, I'll not be speaking, and just the screen will be there, and I'll switch off my video also for 30 seconds. I'll come back exactly after 30 seconds. I'll start my time. So that was the 30 seconds. I think for some of us, it might have looked long, but some it might not be looked long. But the point I'm trying to make was when there is nothing to do and you just have to take rest and read something, that each day looks very, very, very long. So that was the point it was going through, and also was not clear what was going to happen. Means it is not that I was fear of something like worst is going to happen, but whether I should be careful or I should not be careful. Like how much I should be worried. That was the main uncertainty which was going in my mind. And but luckily I also had enough support. Means my wife was there, my family, my friends. I have a good set of friends, my family. It's all strong. So that way it was well taken care, and also I could afford that. Like for some of us, it may not be possible to have that kind of a long absence from work and all that. I have a very strong co-founder who is very supportive and all that. So all the clients and all were managed and all that. So that risk was not there for me. At one point, what happened, I felt that, my God, what is the point of all this? Means I said, let's stop worrying about it now. Means it's enough. Let me enjoy, because I have so much free time. Because by this time I was okay, because the temperature was kind of more or less coming in this thing, and it has become a routine. Means I got used to that. Morning there is to be temperature, evening little temperature, throughout the day. Once the paracetamol is taken, that there is not much temperature, so you can actually read and listen to books and all that. So actually I had enough time, but till that time my mind was preoccupied. And then I said, okay, I'm not going to waste my time like this. Let me enjoy. That is what that thought came. That was the turning point. That's what I call as a freedom, because then I started enjoying that free time. I started learning some new things, because I'd done my programming many years back. I started programming, learning some new things, listening to some new books, all that. And that part I really enjoyed. And that is the learning. Means I still enjoy that freedom. Now I can value the value of time. So just because of that, there is a huge improvement in my productivity. Means the kind of work I had done, I started enjoying what I do, and started some new projects, completed many projects like that. So that was my experience. And here the main thing I wanted to tell was it's all about mind. This is what even Buddha said. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follow an oxen that draw it. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought like a shadow that never leaves. So that was what the key message in my presentation. But little bit also, I also thought as a team, as an organization, I feel very safe in our organization. Also, we try to create that. And maybe some things which have worked for us, I'll share. Maybe it might work for you or it may not work for you, but I thought it's good to share. So this is my story about my freedom. Then what to do with our teams? So I have my co-founder. I'm based in UK. My co-founder is in India. His name is Kishore. And there is a connection, right? But we don't work like a very systematic, this thing, very asynchronous. Sometimes for many weeks, we don't talk to each other. Sometimes we are on call almost like 3-4 times a day. And sometimes we have a long calls, sometimes very short calls. And this is based on trust. But I want to highlight that trust is not that he trusts me, I trust him. No, that is not the trust for us. Trust is I trust myself. That's it. It's all from my side, like 100%. That's it. I don't care. Means I don't even worry about whether he's trusting me or not. And same with him. Like and sometimes even try to understand what his mechanisms and all. I explain my mechanisms, but we laugh because we have different ways with how we trust people. But the trust is, I'll say, if I have to trust any one of you, like Jenia, like or Prashant, it is not like I'll not worry how Prashant thinks about me. I'll just think what I think about him and just create that trust. That is one thing which worked for us. Then we have other team members. We kind of keep that flexible and allow them to have that conversation and make it happen. Other thing which we teach our teams is don't fall into these pitfalls. We call this 3 C's. That is comparing myself with others or comparing myself with how I was earlier in my previous company, all that. That's all gone. It's what we have is right now. So no comparing. And also no competing. Even this we use as an organization also, because this comparing, competing, and complaining will not make us explore the full potential. So competing is like if there are 2 team members, we say each one has their unique skills. Since we are a small team, it's also maybe possible because there is no need to compete because there's enough for all of us. There's enough opportunity to grow for all of us. And the last thing we always kind of discourage as an individual kind of behavior is complaining, because complaining will not solve any problems. Even sometimes we complain about bad infrastructure, bad low bandwidth and all that. But instead of complaining, can we do something about it? How we can take that as a constraint and move forward? That is something I feel has helped us to build a strong culture of psychological safety. So because our aim is to not become a nice team, but the best. So the only way you can become best is exploring your full potential. That is, to explore your full potential, you should have a clear understanding of your strengths, your weaknesses, and you play around them. So I have a few more things to share. And also I just wanted to ensure that I finish on time. I think I left about 2 minutes for my session, but we have another 10 minutes in this session blocked for questions. And also maybe if there are not too many questions, I will share a few more things as a takeaway for you. And in this session, since it's a small session, a lot of how questions may be difficult to answer and give a proper justification. But I'll go through if there's any questions on the chat window or moderator can read it, that will be good. So one question I have for audience, if you don't have question, is what did you observe or what did you see as valuable for you in this? Just reflect that, because that is how the learning also happens. So that's something I want you to reflect. Then if there's no question, I also wanted to share one last thing about psychological safety. So before I kind of submitted my presentation, it was all happened like in a couple of days, and Prashant called me just to, like we had some small this thing. I wanted to share this, and he said, "Why don't you share it? We are actually doing this session and all." And while filling the form, I found a lot of things were like lot of detail. So I was kind of asking, means in that form, actually, I'm given a kind of feedback saying that, oh, there's so much this thing. And it was almost like a very negative, reactive feedback I had given. And the organizers were open enough to take that feedback and also talk to me and get things moving. So this thing was anyway, since that the tendencies earlier had some given that kind of feedback where people not even bothered to respond, or they did not like that feedback. And in this case, it was all taken in a positive way, and there is an opportunity. Means I am speaking to you, right? So that is psychological safety. So it's not being nice or being like talking nice and all that. Just moving on and giving, sharing authentic feedbacks, and then moving with that. So that is the real example. What I'm saying is, as a community also, we should start practicing. Maybe somebody make some mistakes and something. Just look at from their point of view and see what is happening. As a community together, we should help each other and create that safe space so that people can fail, people can take a bigger risks and grow together. So so I'd like to thank Prashant and all the organizing team.
Yeah, Raghavendra.
Yeah.
We have a question from Rakesh Chandra Goyal. So is the introspection should always be helpful? This is his question.
I think there is a key difference between introspection, or reflecting, and thinking and worrying. Sometimes I used to do that mistake where in the name of introspection, I used to do a lot of analysis and blame game. Like it's like internal introspection I'm talking about. So what is good is to separate them together, like have a specific outcome, like what was the introspection, what is the topic you're introspecting, and see is there a learning, and you do it only once. Don't keep doing it multiple times. So maybe note down that learning and then use that learning. That is one way I think I can say that.
Yeah, thanks. We have one more question from Anil Veeraneni. He's asking, freedom from suffering and accept suffering is a part of life.
I think they go hand in hand in a way, because once we have acceptance, there is automatically the freedom emerges, right? So that's why I see the freedom and acceptance go hand in hand. Another thing which recently, as part of my podcast, I got the opportunity to interview Mr. Sridhar Vempu, the CEO of Zoho. He shared a very nice thing. What he says is that having that sense of gratitude, like instead of me thinking about my problem, if I think problems of others, automatically we feel that safety, like security comes, and the other person also feels secure. So that way we can create that safety in the societies much faster. So, but to do that, first we should accept what is there. And it is not easy. Definitely it's not easy. But if we can accept, then automatically the freedom, we start experiencing freedom.
Yeah. So this is more of an appreciation from Chetan Kumar. He is saying that best statement is become best team, not nice team. Your inputs.
Yes, means this has been, I think, personally for me for a very long time in my profession, I use that. But in our team also, we encourage that. When you say best also is a very relative. So because we always have that mindset, because of our conditioning, best means number one. Best means winning the race. Not that. Best is you enjoy that journey. So that is the thing. Means it's not like driven by something. I have to do this because. It's not like that. It is just, I want to do this. So that willingness to put yourself fully, that is our definition of best. Okay.
So this is a question from Rohit Iyer, who is our team member. He's asking, is there any simple simulation system to distinguish the different moods in this pandemic?
First
Because
of
we
all,
have been going through a lot of stressful times, and you have a personal experience, and thanks for sharing that on this program. Your inputs.
I think, frankly, if I know that I am fooling myself, I don't think there are some simple ways to do that. But I need to think. Means right now, I don't think I have an answer for that. But I think we should think. Maybe I don't know at this point. But it's a good question. I'll ponder upon it. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So we have one more question from Harish Kumar. He's saying that complaints are like feedback. If a person or a customer does not complain, don't we feel that he or she is tolerating?
Okay. For our customers, we means the way it's all depends. Means especially for customers, we ensure that we listen to them such that the complaint is as an out means after a long time, means before the person complains, that thought might have originated many months back. So we try to capture that thought and address there itself. So, but if means what I'm saying is, if there's we should much before it becomes complaint, proactively we listen, take feedback, and do the course correction. But as means I'll not say complaint and feedback are same. Feedback is a mechanism. It completes your input. Complaint is something deviation. So deviation, we should design our system in such a way that deviations don't happen. Because we cannot do patches, like you cannot address all the complaints, because then we will never be able to do. Then we have to change our system so that the complaints don't arise. So I'll not see as both are same. They're very distinct.
Okay. So I think we are done with our questions. Thanks, Raghavendra, for your time. And, it's been nice sharing your insights on this topic. Any last thoughts?
First of all, this is a great initiative, a great topic. And I'd like to thank each one of you, especially the volunteers. I know what it takes to organize any event, any scale. And Priyank and Nupur, they've been like a backbone for ANI. So it takes a lot of effort, definitely. I know it's fun. I'm sure you guys are enjoying all this. And the special thanks to participants, because I had tried, means without an audience, a speaker, you cannot have a speaker. And I tried to do some YouTube videos and all. That's a very different experience. As soon as you know that there are 40 people listening to you, your whole body changes, means your tone changes. So a special thanks to each one of you for putting your time on this Friday morning and attending this call. So thank you. And keep in touch. My Twitter ID has given my personal blog and my details. And sometimes I may not respond to messages, but if I normally get back to those messages, we can contact me on WhatsApp and all. But what I'm saying is, as a community, let's face this together. These are the difficult times, but we all can sail through it, because it's challenging. That doesn't mean impossible. Thank you, and take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thanks, Raghavendra.